We need like a blood-curdling screech to open this episode. Here's Johnny.
Yeah, true. There's not. I'll have to cut something in. I'll find something.
But for those of you who don't know, based on that little tidbit, this week on Fraternal Fanatics, we're going to be covering The Shining.
Mm-hmm. Iconic psychological thriller, and one I've never seen before, as with most of the movies we watch on this podcast.
Well,
Somehow.
I don't know. We've been doing some more stuff lately that you've seen and has been more modern, so it's nice to kind of go back to the 80s here.
Yeah, pick up on a classic.
Yeah, we saw Robert De Niro in his younger form in Taxi Driver a few months back, and now we'll get to see Jack Nicholson here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who is an absolute fucking lunatic.
Yeah, that guy's a madman.
Guy's a nutcase. Like, as a person, I think. I don't think it's just like he's choosing characters who are lunatics. He must be a lunatic. You don't do all this. You don't do this and Joker and all these weird, crazy people without being a
weird,
he's
crazy
person
for a
yourself.
Creative outlet for it to look less weird if he like unleashes this kind of craziness on the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's terrifying for sure. And just so you can tell he was so into it throughout the thing, like really like trying to get to that teetering edge of deep dive into insanity kind of thing. Like the portrayal of that was impressive.
Yeah. And like, how do you prepare for something like that? Like, how do you understand how to play this kind of character, this kind of person? Like, how do you portray, I shouldn't say how you did it very well, but like the portrayal of schizophrenia, or like, maybe that's the wrong disease, but the portrayal of insanity.
Just a guy losing his marbles.
Yeah. Like, do you think he actually just wrote out all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy all those times?
Yeah, after writing that entire stack of papers, I'm sure that would drive any man crazy. So maybe he just did it for real and that was enough. Yeah.
Go through a whole ream of paper. Be out of your mind.
Well, maybe he was inspired by other actors. I'm thinking of just because we had watched The Green Mile and Sam Rockwell's performance in that.
That would have been after.
But that was after. Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess just like wanted to be faithful to, because it's a Stephen King adaptation. So horror author, you definitely want to add like some edge to really drive it home that this guy's not only a nutcase, but he's capable of chopping up his family with an axe.
Yeah.
Eventually, I guess. But that's the beauty of it, eh? It's like, I'm not sure when exactly that breaking point happens for him, but he seems like, I mean, a morally gray guy at the beginning from what we learned during his conversations, like applying for the position at the Overlook motel, but he seemed relatively normal at the beginning, right? And then, I don't know, you could sort of start chalking it up to cabin fever, but
yeah, no kidding.
Isolated out there, only his wife and son, big old hotel.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how short the time frame of this movie actually is, because it only took, from what I remember, I could be wrong on this, but it only took like a month for him to go off the rails, because all this stuff happens, the movie basically happens within a week. Is that correct? Or 8 days or something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely a constrained timeline. I don't like it feels pretty early on into their stay there that
I think they were only there for a month before that week that he completely descends to madness.
I know they had the in between scenes or whatever, they had like the title cards with the days. So yeah, I'd have to verify that, but yeah, it definitely happened in a shorter time span. Like the hotel had its grips around Jack right away.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because he actually I remember him bringing up a line during the interview about like he had a sense of, or sorry, it wasn't during the interview. It was after he had been to the Overlook for the first time, before he returned for Danny and Wendy. And he was like, had felt like the place was calling to him.
Right.
And like felt like he had always been there type of thing, like a sense of familiarity.
Yeah. Well, that does kind of maybe bring up my first overarching question, which like obviously Dick Halloran there explains to Danny the shine or whatever that he describes it as, and how they both have the shine. Like, does Jack also have the shine then? Like, is that I guess how the reason Danny has the shine, whatever, like it's a hereditary trait.
Yeah. Passed down.
Yeah.
Right.
Would that mean Jack also has the shine? And if so, is that the reason he went off the rails? And again, further to that, would Danny be in the same position if he was, an adult or whatever, like had an... Or, sorry,
well,
I
what
guess
about
it was
Halloran,
not necessarily an adult, because it was like a surprise. Well, yeah, Halloran...
Like, he seemed like a pretty well-adjusted guy. He was definitely harboring some PTSD surrounding the hotel, but...
Yeah, but I think like
seen some shit there, but
I guess as he described, he didn't like suppress his shine or whatever. Like he knew
he was
about it,
aware of when it was happening, when he was going into the trance-like state. Whereas Danny seemed a bit more like
doesn't
blacking
really
out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe Jack just has no concept of what this is like.
But you don't think Jack could have like been in a blackout state? When
I think he was.
Work and no play.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think it was. He just had no
He's
understanding
on autopilot.
The way that Dick Halloran was able to control it, so to speak, because of his understanding of it.
Yeah,
Jack didn't have the same understanding and thus didn't have the same control.
I would say too, though, that like both Danny and Halloran had some degree of like kind of vision like states where they were seeing things, whereas we never saw that with Jack necessarily. It was more like he was infected by the aura of the hotel. So that leads me into like, I guess my counter or my sort of explanation to it is that the hotel itself has the shine or the shining. Like it's not necessarily like a trait that like lives in human DNA or something. It's broader than that, I guess, in my eyes. I don't think necessarily that Jack had the shine, but I do see what you're saying. You make a compelling argument for it, and it just kind of affected him in a different way, pushed him over the edge. But yeah, I sort of see it as like the hotel itself is imbued with this whatever intangibleness the shining is, or the shine.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Well, in that case, I guess
because there's like, I guess to try and back myself up on that a little bit, like the biggest example in my head, or the most glaring example in my head of like a supportive notion for that, would be when the freezer mysteriously unlocks for Jack by like whatever the caretaker
he just opens as if it was never locked in the first place.
So there has to be some degree of like manifestation of physical nature. Like the hotel has something to it that it's conjuring up.
I guess.
Not only what seems like a ghost, but a ghost that has the ability to like interact physically with the hotel.
Yeah.
Meaning there's some sort of... The hotel itself is maybe like more than just an inanimate object.
Okay. I guess that does kind of... I had written down when we were watching it, like who opened room 237 initially, because we see the scene of Danny going up to it and checking the door or whatever, but he doesn't go in, he doesn't unlock it, and then the next time we see the room, it's
wide
unlocked.
open.
Yeah, and I guess I assumed Jack had done that in some, again, like this is after the fact. Yeah, exactly. In some
ventured in there.
Yeah, and it unlocked the door, and that just led the way. That just started the snowball of like that. The door opened, so now Danny hears the calling. Like he's
that's
experiencing the shine that's like drawing him, or I guess not him, but Tony or whatever. What's the other alternate personality? That he, Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance.
That's Tony. Yeah.
Tony, yeah.
Tony.
Yeah. So, like, that's, you know, urgent or, like, coercing Tony into the room.
Sure.
And as a result,
almost
Danny
like
as well.
the room 237 is like Pandora's box. Like,
yeah.
There was already something off about the hotel, but once like that box
it
opens
released
up,
whatever. Yeah.
Everything reigns free, or everything flies free, like during the off season. If room 237 is. Yeah. Okay. That's. I do, or yeah, I don't know. The layout of the hotel doesn't make any sense either if you extrapolate. Like, it's almost like designed like the maze in a way. Like it's nonsensical the way it's laid out. It's just a bunch of like, maybe it's in the way it's shot too, the movie, but it feels like a bunch of like just tight cornered hallways, and doesn't really make sense how the characters are getting around from place to place. Like, I don't know where like Wendy and Jack and Danny's apartment is relative to like the room that
he was writing in,
Jack was writing in, relative to the kitchen. Like, it's just very sort of this hodgepodge of like different rooms in the hotel.
Yeah.
That it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense how they're all connected. So maybe that's a red herring too, of like, as soon as you step in, you're already like in the belly of the beast kind of thing.
Right. You're already lost. And
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, 237, I don't think that, I'm thinking that Jack hadn't been in there before until after Danny gets strangled or whatever, which is another, like, there's a physical representation of whatever spirit is in the hotel.
I just had chalked that up to like he had done it himself, or
like
when she points
in a trance, self-strangulation kind of thing, because he's like being possessed or
But then when she pointed out that it was Jack, I was like, oh fuck, it probably was Jack.
Yeah,
I bought into that, and I guess at this point I still do think that's true. I still think it was Jack.
I'm trying to think what had made you think so confidently that it was Jack at that point in the movie. Like, I know there was a little bit of exposure early on in the movie about like Jack used to be a teacher, but then he wasn't. So there was an incident that had happened with Danny, and
mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we knew like he was predisposed to hurting Danny, or that.
Well,
like,
but to what degree? Because we don't really quite learn the degree of that, of how much pain he inflicted carelessly, until he's like at the bar having the conversation, and he kind of reveals like he releases some emotion he's definitely had pent up about the situation, like trying to defend his actions, and but knowing, because of how much aggression he's bringing to that, knowing that like he was in the wrong, and it was probably, he didn't hold back in that moment or something,
Yeah. Yeah. I
guess, my question, I guess, to that would be, did you have enough sense early on in the movie that the relationship between Jack and Danny and Wendy was strained, where there wasn't a lot of trust there, and it was kind of ripe for something to go wrong?
Yeah. I think the conversation with when Dan, did he pass out or whatever at the beginning of the movie? I can't remember. And he talks to the therapist or whatever. And then, what's her name? Jack's wife?
Wendy.
When, after the fact, when Wendy's talking to the therapist and recounting this story of Jack coming home drunk, and that conversation was so vague, and I don't want to say coy, because I kind of feel like that degrades it a bit, but it was, just left a lot out.
I think she also downplays the severity of what Jack did.
And I think that's what I picked up on. So
yeah,
I think I carried that with me through the rest of the movie. It's like, this guy is 100 times worse than they're willing to admit.
Yeah,
or that she's willing to admit.
He was a worse guy than we were seeing.
Yeah. And I guess subliminally, too, part of that is like, having seen the meme of Jack Nicholson breaking through the door previously. Like, there was a couple things from this movie that I had noted that
you were sort of anticipating the slippery slope.
A little bit,
descending into madness.
A little bit, I guess. Like, not consciously, but yeah, I think that was in my head. Right. The same way that, like, when I heard the Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance. Like, I wasn't scared. I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
Because I've just heard that and so many other things that it wasn't like it was just, instead of it being like a, eerie moment to me, it was just like, my God, I did not know that's what this was from.
The movie did have a long runtime, though. Like, did you ever feel like it dragged?
No, not at all. Yeah, no, I was bought in, like, from the start.
Okay, because, like, each time I've watched it, I don't know, maybe 4 times now, and I've never had a problem with... It doesn't feel like a 2.5 hour
It moves fast.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I think, just maybe the, like, jumping between these certain time frames helps. Like that we, start on Thursday or whatever it is, and then we see Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Like, we see every, like, I think breaking it up into those smaller pieces is maybe helps the pace. Just that, like, if Tuesday was this long or whatever, Wednesday is going to be about the same length. You know what I mean? It's a strange.
Yeah, you're waiting for it to kind of culminate at the end of the week.
Yeah.
It's like waiting for Friday or getting excited for Friday.
Maybe
like,
so.
All right, yeah, let's... I don't know, that's kind of a bad metaphor, but... No, I completely agree. I don't have an issue with the pacing at all, and sometimes when watching long movies, it can be kind of a...
drag.
It can easily be a point of contention if the director's not careful.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think there wasn't anything in the movie, thinking back, or off the top of my head, I guess, anyway, that, like, at times you can look at a movie in the larger sense and kind of pick out some of the scenes that it's like, you didn't really need to do this. Like, you could have added some dialogue in the scene previous or the scene after, and we would have had the same thing, minus another 10 minutes or something like that, and do that 3 times, and there's whatever, a fifth of a 2.5 hour movie, like a pretty significant chunk. I can't say for this movie that there was any scene in particular that I felt wasn't required to tell the story.
Yeah.
I think it was all. And maybe part of that too is like just the longer shots. Like, it's very much the kind of walking down the hallway, like the long steady cam shots. I think that, like, having that suspense build helps the pacing versus just like cutting between people talking, like cutting from face to face.
And develop that haunting feeling, that dread as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
And builds up, culminates at the end. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. No issue with pacing. What about, like, acting in general? Like, were you satisfied with... I mean, I know we kind of covered how crazy Jack Nicholson was.
Yeah. Yeah,
But, like, child acting is sometimes a toss-up. But I thought Danny was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he was, too.
Creepy level. And it was, like, interesting seeing... He was really, like... His demeanor and personality flipped on a switch from when they got to the hotel too, right? Like at the beginning when he was eating breakfast before they moved there for the season.
Yeah.
He was quite eloquent actually for like a young kid.
Yeah, he's what, 8 or under 10 anyway. Yeah.
And talkative and stuff, and Tony wasn't around so much. So yeah, he flipped on a dime too. So you knew like there was something bad. But yeah, it's interesting how Tony gave him sort of an ominous warning
at the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting that, like, based on the shine or whatever, like, based on the name of the Overlook Hotel, there was, like, an air of danger that came from that. Like, Tony was warning Danny about that before they had gotten to the Overlook Hotel. It's like there's a history within this, like, mystical aura. There's a history of the Overlook Hotel. Like, it's an understood...
Yeah, whatever trait Danny has, it's like almost communicates.
There's like a hive mind or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Halloran, whenever he took the job there, if he was sort of warned in the same way, or if that came after, or maybe it was like a family affair kind of thing. Like his dad worked at the Overlook, his grandpa worked at the Overlook. I don't know if they'd like kind of been through the years there.
Yeah, well, and even, like, what did the manager or whatever, like the guy who hired Jack, did he know about the Shine and Room 237 and Dick and his capability? And
yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how vocal Dick was willing to be about it, because it seemed like he was pretty...
With Danny, anyway, aware. He was very open about it, too.
And yeah, and wanted to give him enough information to... Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird word. Sorry. Yeah, he was kind of giving Danny, I guess, the necessary information he needed to be wary
protect himself. Yeah,
what was going on, but he wasn't super, like, he was pretty vague about it. He was still kind of like not very insistent that there was any weird shit going on. Like, he was like, oh, well, I mean, it's an old hotel, and like he was upfront about the Shining stuff with Danny, but not about like the old caretaker chopping his wife and son up. And
yeah, I think it was more the situation of like ignorance is safety. It's like Batman doesn't tell his loved ones that he's Batman because they become a target, the same way that, like, don't want to tell Danny about all this shit because if he goes looking, then he's fucking dead.
But does this not, like, happen every season with every caretaker?
It doesn't seem like it. It seemed like that caretaker, the previous Gary or something, was it? Something like that. Or
yeah, something like that.
Anyways, doesn't matter. It seemed like the previous caretaker had been doing it for Grady. Yeah. Had been doing it for a number of years, and just in the last season had...
Right.
That's what
they needed a new caretaker, Jack, because the last off season, Grady had went crazy and chopped his wife. Okay, so he was...
I think for a number of years prior. I don't think he was the first victim necessarily. I think he had just maybe gotten through this cabin fever, or
what do you mean gotten through? If he ended up chopping his family up
in previous years.
Oh,
like if he had done it, say he had done it like the last 5 to 7 years.
Right, like Jack broke much quicker than he did.
Yeah, Jack broke immediately.
I mean,
based on the timeline of this.
So that speaks a lot about Jack being primed.
Yeah,
to fall apart.
Yeah,
he was in a state of where it was too... The allure of the hotel was too strong for him to shy away from it and not, like, be wrapped in by its tentacles and fall victim to it.
What is this, lighthouse?
Yeah. Still got those seabirds on my mind. Don't kill a gull.
Jack probably killed a couple.
Oh, I'm sure. No gulls in winter. Sorry.
But yeah, sorry. Getting back to your question about the acting, I did Danny. Yes, very well. I liked him very well as well. Danny, I liked very much as well. Dick, I also want to point out, I thought was very compelling. I could really feel the stress in him, like when he's making the phone call to the forest ranger there, or whatever it was. And then when he's going down, when he's going down in the snowcat to the hotel. Like, you can really see that he's like, shit's going. Like, obviously, that's a result of the shine. He knows that something actually is going on.
Yeah,
he
I
doesn't
think he
know
can
what.
sense. He has some connection still, right? Where he's like, he knows something's up with the storm. They're isolated out there. He can't reach them. Nobody can reach them, I guess.
I think it's even more than that. Like, he feel physically like the shine or whatever is activating. Like, he knows that something is
like it's been
not as it
dormant
should
or something.
Yeah, like maybe when that room 237 opens and that, it triggers Danny or whatever, maybe it does the same thing.
It wafts
to
all
him.
the way
Yeah.
over to Florida or wherever he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good call, actually. I agree with you there.
But yeah, again, more towards the question, just his acting was quite compelling. He was, you could really feel the despair
and concern, I guess,
concern,
for the family
yes,
too.
Like he was genuinely
trepidatious
cared
about even them being there to take the job, but it's not up to him at that point, right? Like, he's just trying to make it a smooth transition and probably crossing his fingers that what happened to the last guy isn't like a repeat thing. It's just a one-off, like, this guy just lost it. Even though, despite the fact that he's probably seen some things in the hotel that have caused him, and because of his connection to the Shining, that's enough for him to be, it's a layered performance because of that, I guess, and that comes through.
Yeah.
He delivers on that, the concern, but also like, well, let's not scare him too much and almost like invite
the fear and the problem. Yeah.
Causing the hotel to feed on that.
Yeah.
Jack is ripe.
And Wendy too. Obviously I gotta mention, I don't know in what order they shot this movie, but I think they did some of the real scary shit before they did like the regular stuff. Because especially in that, when they're touring the Overlook Hotel for the first time, like Jack and Wendy and Danny and Dick Halloran's taking them around.
Yeah.
She seems terrified of Jack Nicholson already.
Oh, did you
like
find?
There's like they're kind of standoffish or something. It seems like, in my eyes, what happened is they shot the scene of him breaking through the door pretty early on in production, and then she was just fucking scarred for the rest of it.
I know. I had heard that she was kind of bullied quite a bit on set, and exhausting amount of takes and stuff, or retakes for specific scenes. So I don't know. Maybe she was on edge because of that. But it's also, I don't know. I guess I could sort of try and explain it as like the loss of trust whenever the incident happened with Danny and Jack, the dislocated shoulder.
Right.
Like, maybe it's just nothing ever quite was the same after that.
Like, it's more a character.
Lingering, like, resentment mixed with distrust and sort of fear of, like, what else is he capable of if he's brazenly, like, dislocating my son's shoulder.
Yeah.
Protective mentality to, like, trying to shield Danny from Jack as much as possible. We do see that too. She does create distance between the two of them, especially as the movie goes along, and she's resistant in that one scene where Danny wants to go grab his fire truck upstairs, but Jack's sleeping, and she's like, don't wake him, whatever you do. And he's like, I'll be quick. And then that's one of my favorite scenes, when he goes up, opens the door, and Jack's just sitting bolt upright in bed, like staring out the window, like blank expression on his face, just completely out of it. And then him and Danny alone, it's like, Jesus, what's about to happen here?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that scene is unsettling for sure. His acting, Jack Nicholson's acting, is unsettling.
Yeah.
In
a
very
scene.
upsetting way. Yeah, I mean, extrapolating that to the rest of the movie for sure. Yeah, but there is that turn from unsettling to, like,
terror.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is
when
dangerous.
he's chasing them through the maze at the end.
Yeah.
Danny!
Yeah. That was nuts.
The
Danny
guttural
is slick as shit. So.
Smart kid, eh? Clever kid.
Honestly.
Yeah.
He's especially because, like, it's not even, just to, like, it's a very smart move to intuitively go into this maze, which he's obviously, like, he's had enough time fucking around at the hotel that he knows this maze like the back of his hand. Yeah. Obviously, Jack has not spent more than 2 seconds in that maze, if at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is a real clever move to, play on your strengths. And
yeah,
he was alone at that point. Like, I assume by that point he thought Wendy was dead. Like, in his own, because she gets trapped in the bathroom there. I have to. I can't.
Yeah, I guess,
to
or at least like
why.
His priority was just like, I'll, find her when I'm out of immediate danger.
Yeah, maybe so. I still can't understand why Jack bailed on killing Wendy in the bathroom there, though. Like, just because he got sliced up a bit. It seems like if you're ready to chop someone up with an axe, you get hacked a little bit in the hand. It doesn't seem like it should stop you that much, but
I sort of see it as like Danny's more of, if Jack is in a way being sort of possessed and controlled by the hotel, or at least coerced, the hotel probably wants Danny as a victim more than Wendy because of his ability to shine. Right. And I think that's sort of like not necessarily best case scenario for if we look at the hotel as being more than just an inanimate object, like I was saying before, like a entity of some sort that has some degree of rationality. Like, it probably sees Danny as at least like a complication, if not like a threat based on his ability, because it can, I don't know how, I hesitate, I'm trying to find the right word for it, because it's like we could use this as a jumping off point for the ability too. Like, what benefit does it give you really beyond just like this weird connection to an otherworldly force? Like, he does have a vision like trance, but it's just sort of like recollections of what went on, the dark shit that happened at the hotel. Yeah,
there's no like direct benefit. It's not like he has fucking telekinesis because of this.
Yeah, or can like tell the future and like make sure to like pull himself out of danger. Like, they could have gone the route of like, I don't know, he like has like in the maze or something, instead of like him pulling a clever move and backtracking in his own tracks and sort of calling back to like how we saw him at the beginning, where he seems like a pretty smart kid. I think that contributes to that later on, but they could have just as easily written it as if like, Danny's ability helps him get him out of danger with Jack.
Right. Yeah.
But it was more of like a storytelling device to combine past and present, sort of, The Shining.
Yeah, The Shine is purely like an informative ability. There's no like physical or mental or emotional benefit to it. It's just another way of seeing something.
And it's like vague another too, right? Like, it just seems like for Halloran, like it seems like an uneasy, or maybe it evolves to be more of an uneasy feeling, because I don't know if he's still having visions and kind of as vivid as Danny is. Like, I wonder if you're more impressionable when you're young, or the connection is stronger, or you're more susceptible, maybe a young mind or something. So Halloran is like, oh shit, like Danny's probably tripping balls like I was back in the day. Now I've like been able to manage it more and not go into like these trance-like states where I wake up and not know what happened, like it seems to be with Danny. Whereas Halloran is like, he's aware that he's like shining right now and paying attention to that, but is able to pull himself back and, hey, since that happened, I gotta get up there quick and help, because shit's hitting the fan.
Yeah.
So maybe as you're able to control it more, the connection weakens, sort of.
Yeah, or it's less like debilitating, at least.
Yeah. It doesn't have as much pull.
Which I guess that kind of does bring us back to the conversation of, like, if all three, Dick, Danny, and Jack, had the shine, and we see those three levels of understanding for like somebody who's fully accepted and understanding of this ability that they possess.
Yeah.
Someone who's aware that they possess an ability that others don't, but doesn't really understand the effect or how to control it. And then Jack on the other end of the spectrum, who completely ignorant to the idea and doesn't understand that he's seeing things differently or that other people aren't seeing at all.
That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I hadn't looked at. That's a really cool way of interpreting that, actually, because I was going to use it as sort of a launching off point to talk about what exactly happened with Jack's descent into madness, whether it's because I hadn't thought of it as The Shining. I was going to harken back to like the scene with the bartender and stuff. There's some conversation in there that makes it pretty clear to me that it's more the malevolent forces of the hotel as opposed to like his personal connection.
Well, and it's funny, I guess, but kind of getting away from the point, but that conversation at the bar there with the bartender while this party or whatever is going on in the background, like, it's interesting how that force of the hotel is, manifesting in the drinks that he's having. Like,
we know he's a recovering alcoholic.
We know that he's predisposed. Yeah.
Sequence,
and we can see, like, him. I had written down when I was watching it, like, his illusion of having the drink seems to be as effective as him actually having the drink.
Yeah, because we know the hotel is dry in the off season. They remove everything.
Yeah, but it's such a better analogy that it's not the drink, or it's not him imagining the drink. It is this hotel's grip manifesting itself as alcohol, as his biggest crutch.
And almost like I'd go so far as to say, because of our talk about like how the hotel can affect things physically, like I almost wonder if Jack is being served drinks at that point.
Right, like it's not in his head.
He's consuming alcohol that's been provided by the hotel. And
I guess that gets back again to how the freezer door there unlocks and
Danny's strangulation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, more of me views that as just like more a mystical representation of the hotel, and almost even of Jack's projection of him wanting something that's not there. Even I feel like it's like even he's sort of aware that he's putting on this show for himself, sort of to like pretend as if there's a bartender here. But then I think maybe the more he goes there after because I think he has a couple encounters with the bartender.
2 or 3 anyway that I can think of, yeah.
So I'm thinking that the later stages, he fully thinks that this guy is real and serving him drinks. But I think at the beginning it was sort of like let me kind of act as
have this fantasy for a few hours, yeah.
Yeah. Pretend like I'm shooting shit with the bartender here, and trying to cope with Danny's what I did to my son and how that's affected me up till now,
and just the more he does it, the more real it becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more the hotel pulls him in, the more he believes it. Let's move away from like character development and plot a little bit. Like, I know we touched a little bit on like technical aspects of like filmmaking and shot choice and like the
longer sequences,
the hallway shots building dread, and the nonsensical kind of design of shooting the hotel to make it seem sort of impossible.
Maze-ish.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue, actually, because one of my favorite shots in the movie is a little bit earlier into the season when they're more recently getting there and getting acquainted with the hotel and their lay of the land, figuring things out before Jack has really gone off the deep end. Wendy and Danny are traipsing their way through the maze, just having some fun, and it cuts to like Jack inside, and there's a miniature version of the maze on like a table inside the hotel, and he's sort of like towering over the miniature version with, you know, this crazy kind of look in his eye,
Right.
but not quite the crazy look in his eye we see at the end, more of like the subtle, like, what's this guy gonna do?
Yeah.
And then it sort of like descends into the maze, and it opens up like in the real maze with Danny and Wendy working their way to the middle.
Right.
But that's like, I don't know, for some reason that sticks out as like that might be my favorite shot in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember it. I can't say I remember it specifically. I mean,
Okay.
Vaguely anyway. Yeah.
I guess it's just a personal thing, like personal preference. There's something about that scene that just stuck out to me.
Yeah. But there were a number of shots that were, like chef's kiss, like you did there. It's just a perfect. I guess that's something I don't know that I've seen any of Stanley Kubrick's movies before. Like none that I would think of immediately that I was like, oh yeah, that's Stanley Kubrick. This might have been the first one I've ever seen, and it is.
Sure.
I can understand why this is a classic based on, as much as we
Highly
talked about the
regarded.
acting and performance and stuff was obviously great. You have great actors, and it's no surprise. But yeah, like the technical shooting, the close-ups, those long shots like we were talking about is, very well done.
Yeah. And very, like, I don't know, those like wide open shots of the hotel just showing like how expansive some of the rooms could be made it feel very like trapped, almost like you're trapped in this big spooky,
it felt
like
super contagious, or
Yeah.
not contagious, excuse me, super claustrophobic.
yeah.
And I don't know why, because it's a very big landscape shot of like this. I guess actually, you know what it probably is? It's probably that towards the back of the hotel you have the mountain, obviously that very imposing structure that towers above the hotel, and then all around the front side it's just forested, and then with the maze on the towards the right there, like it is. I guess that's what
Very
makes it so
closed
claustrophobic. It's this one clearing of dense nothing.
Yeah, one road leading into it that gets
20 feet of
disappears
snow,
whenever
yeah.
snow falls. Yeah, the location, and seeing it before it becomes winter too, like realizing how quickly it becomes isolated from the rest of the world when there is a bad snow and storm, right? Like it's completely shut off, and no one's going out that way unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah, unless it's Dick.
I also love the shots of like following Danny pedaling his way through the
Yeah.
halls on the trike there.
Yeah.
That was good. Just like the back shot of him kind of
Super
the halls.
eerie, and like that topped with the score and the sound design, the
Yeah.
like
the kind of screeching
violin,
like
or
The
is it
Shining.
violin?
There's a presence that's following Danny along with the camera.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, no, and you feel that
Yeah.
with the sound for sure.
Sort of leading him to 237.
Yeah. Yeah, chilling audio, like
Yeah, sound design was awesome.
Yeah,
Just
it gives you goosebumps like
made
immediately.
the atmosphere that much more
Yeah,
dreading and terrifying, and
stressful.
yeah,
It felt like watching that movie felt like playing The Last of Us. Just severely
edge of your
stressed
seat.
out.
Yeah.
And the setting too, I really liked the dressed setting of like the ballroom and stuff when he's at the bar talking with
when he's sort
Grady
of
there.
hallucinating,
Yeah.
or the hotel's manifesting the
like
the 1921 old school ball.
exactly. Yeah. I really like that, juxtaposed with the empty room as it actually is,
Yeah.
like it's a very, very elaborate event, as you can tell just from the background of the shot. Like there's not even any particular close-ups of, there's appears to be a stage on the back, and there's tables and stuff, and I guess the only thing that really shows any distinct character is just the packed bar that he's sitting at. Like when he's walking out to the bar, you can see just every single thing. I guess it's
like
just
liquor bottles, you mean?
yeah, like whatever you want, it is here.
There.
Like the indulgence, it just screams indulgence with something so small.
Yeah, it was a very fancy affair that he was sort of conjuring up, or the hotel was conjuring up, however you want to look at it.
Yeah, and then the other side of it being this empty hotel with, not a chair or a tablecloth in sight, not a drop of alcohol to be found on the grounds. Like, it's just that severe, severe difference between the two. His manifestation and the actual... Or maybe not his manifestation necessarily, like we talked, but like maybe there is more of a real...
Yeah, were they there to some degree more than just in Jack's head. It also, like, that type of stuff added to, like, the history of the hotel for me too, right? Mm-hmm. Him thinking of these old black tie events that would have happened back in the day. Like, it roots the hotel in some deeper history where it's like this thing is like an ancient. It helps make the sort of weird force that is imbued within the hotel more believable because it's been there since the 20s.
Yeah, like not just the hotel and the structure, but like this atmosphere has seen, I guess at this point, 80 years or 60 years of history.
Yeah, making you think at the end, I guess, that the hotel, how many victims has the hotel claimed?
Yeah. Yeah, like that is interesting. Like are all those people that are attending the gala, all those people we see in the background, victims of...
Well, I think they at least...
The hotel. Like, we know that Grady is.
But remember when Wendy briefly opens the door to the ballroom and there's all the skeletons and stuff in there, cobwebs, and as if... I mean, that's how the hotel was appearing to Wendy, but is there truth to that? Like, it had genocided a room full of well-dressed individuals, rich, elite people.
Yeah. Is that like the reward?
Jack among them.
Yeah, is that like the reward for being the caretaker and like chopping up your family? Like you
maybe
live like eternally at this hotel for in the off season corrupting the next caretaker and just go through that cycle year
right, like year. Whoever comes next off season at the Overlook
is the next
instead of
victim.
Delbert Grady being in the bathroom having that one-on-one with Jack.
Yeah.
It'll be Jack.
Delbert can now enjoy the ball and do whatever. Jack takes his position.
Because he was convinced Jack had been the caretaker there for a long time. Yeah. And like he hadn't remembered.
You've always been.
Or he was refusing to believe that he was the caretaker, I guess, even though Jack was insistent.
It's also a funny, I guess, if this does keep happening. How does the Overlook Hotel stay in business? How are they still open?
Well, I guess if no weird shit is going on, like if the hotel is satiated in the off season, if it's able to claim some victims, then during the on season when people are there, there's just no weird shit going on. The manager, like no one's there to see that things are going wrong, anyways.
But like
that's
what about the bodies?
Well,
like every year they just find a caretaker dead.
But I thought we had determined
chopped up.
It wasn't necessarily an every year thing. It was like that the previous caretaker
could
have been there for 7 years before like succumbing to these insane delusions that caused him to chop up his daughters and wife.
Yeah.
And by that point, like new management had come around that weren't like familiar or didn't at least have an idea that like some shit wasn't right at the hotel. This new hotshot comes in and is like, oh, fucking Overlook Hotel, hell yeah. Like, he doesn't know about all the history behind it and stuff. So he just assumes, all right, we need a new caretaker, someone to look after the place in the off season. So, But yeah, I mean, that practice might change once they show up and Jack's frozen corpse is hauled out
Sitting
of the maze.
in the hedge, yeah.
And Halloran, I guess they'd find his body too. I do want to get your thoughts on what, in my eyes, is one of the more important lines in the movie, I guess. When Jack's at the bar and he says he'd sell his soul for a glass of beer.
Mm.
Do you think the events would have played out differently and he might have not gone off the deep end if that wasn't him essentially inviting in whatever presence was there?
Right. Like that's like the genie granting your wish.
Yeah, and the bartender even says to him, like, you know, your drinks are on the house, like, as if someone whoever owns the place has given me the okay to serve you drinks for free.
Yeah.
If it's sort of, you know, an otherworldly presence, I kind of interpreted it as like the devil, like Jack has just stated that he's willing to sell his soul.
Yeah, he's
the devil
saying,
has responded.
If there was a contract between me and the devil that said, I'll give you a drink, you give me your soul, he would sign it. And the devil then presents him with the contract.
Yeah, he had made that verbal exchange, and that was the tipping point for him. Or I like to think that's the tipping point.
Yeah.
I think there was already something that was sort of sitting back there in his mind, brought upon by the hotel before that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like...
TSN turning point.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Like, he might not have went. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, if that was...
Yeah, that went past me for sure. I guess I didn't think much of the line, or didn't recognize it particularly, but...
It might be a product of a couple rewatches, but...
Maybe so, yeah. But I do think that's correct. I do like that theory. I think he could have resisted the hotel as Danny can, or as Dick can, given their ability. But yeah, in that moment, he chose not to. He had two paths in front of him. He could have, like we said, made that verbal contract, made that request, and then got up and walked away and didn't have that drink, whether it was an illusion or not. Or what he did choose to do is, all right, well, if it's free, might as well take it.
Sucker back.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that, because that is kind of when everything goes off the rails, because that's right after room 237 opens, however it does. That's after Danny gets strangled or whatever. So yeah, assuming that it wasn't Jack that strangled Danny, or I guess even if it was, that is him choosing to, like, all right, well, Wendy thinks I already fucking did it, so I guess I might as well just succumb to that. I guess I might as well actually just do it.
Yeah, I wonder, it makes me think if Jack was maybe just like the perfect candidate to be the next victim of the hotel. Right. So it sort of reached out through Danny.
Right. Like
in
using
an
Danny
way
as
to get Jack there, because he was already like, this guy is like just, you know, I guess a drink away from insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hotel could sense, because of its connection, or because Danny's connection to the hotel, and Jack being Danny's father, like it could sense that Jack, especially with what happened between the two of them, the dislocated shoulder, like, all right, let's get this guy over here. He's going to be perfect for, you know, the next guy to drive insane. And that could also explain, like, maybe that's how the hotel stays in business a bit too. Maybe this is like that the incident with Grady and him chopping up his family was more of an isolated thing, and it's just like he was a good candidate for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was, you know, only months into his job there too, and he lost it, and they had to like find an emergency replacement, Jack, for the next season. Like maybe it's very selective with its candidates, as opposed to like just whoever's here all possess.
Yeah, like before Grady, the last caretaker, was there for 15 years.
Yeah. And maybe he never
problems.
went crazy. Yeah, because he just didn't have. he was like a moral stand-up member of society that wasn't susceptible to evil forces that are telling him to murder his family.
Right.
And so that could be it too. Just like Jack was
predisposed.
Jack was already, it was doom. It was a doomed situation.
Yeah.
He was meant to go to the hotel.
Well, I guess, yeah. So Jack was chosen. It wasn't that he was a good candidate for this that happened to cross the path of the hotel. It's the hotel chose Jack in one way or another and coerced him and his family through Danny.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily what I believe, but I think that's a way of looking at it, I guess, yeah. Because it's like, I guess, to try and disprove that a bit, like how would... It was just purely coincidence that, like, this job's available, he finds it available and goes to apply for it?
Well, no.
Like, it's not like Danny was like, hey, Dad, Tony's telling you to go down to the job market, and I think there's an opening at the Overlook.
Yeah. No, but it does go back to what you pointed out about Jack being very clear about how he felt like he'd been here before, and there was, like, deja vu that wasn't... It was more than deja vu.
But that was after he had visited it. So it's not like he was like, oh, the Overlook Hotel. Like, it's not like he saw come in for an interview or whatever on a bulletin board or something. It was like, the Overlook Hotel, why does that give me some sense of deja vu, or I feel like I've heard that name, or there's some weird feeling I have associated with that, so I'll go to the interview. I guess that maybe could be true, but it seemed to be more of like, I've lost my job as a teacher, probably, or maybe because I was aggressive with a kid, given what I did to my son. It's plausible.
Sure.
I've lost my job. I probably am not going to find work in that field again because that reputation sticks with you.
Mm.
And you become like a writer, whatever that means. In his case, like, sort of comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
A writer of what?
Yeah. That's a good
like
point.
He's just
it's very vague.
He's taking his job to make some money and just writing. Like, it's a weird...
Yeah.
I think he's just like a bit of a lost puppy at that point. And this comes along conveniently, and it's like, perfect, isolated. I'll start writing. There's nothing to do in the off season at the hotel. Our associations with, like, I don't know, the people close to us might be strained because of, like, what happened with Jack and Danny. Like, maybe it's, their friends and stuff have heard about this, and there's a bit of trepidation, and, like, they're kind of being pushed out a little, in a way. People don't necessarily want to associate with Jack as much anymore because they've heard rumors about him being abusive.
His reputation precedes him,
Yeah, so it's like, fresh start. Even if I do something, there's nobody around.
Yeah.
So I can craft a story to downplay the severity of what I did again, and Wendy should back me up because she did the first time. Yeah, it just feels like the hotel wanted Jack bad or something.
Yeah, it was like his whole course of his life was just the events leading him to be a victim of the hotel.
And that would support the final shot of the picture of him in 1921 too, right? Like, as if
that's right. Yeah, I forgot we even discussed that. Or I forgot that even happened. I forgot we hadn't discussed that and that it happened.
Yeah, I mean, that, being the big twist, I guess. Yeah. Because it sort of makes you call into question everything at that point. How can Jack exist both in 1921 and 1970, whatever present day was?
Late 70s, early 80s, whatever it was. Yeah, is Jack just like a cycle? Like, is Jack just...
Like, he restarts...
Yeah, like a Groundhog Day kind of thing or something like that.
Right, like, but his life outside of the hotel is just an illusion. Is that what you're saying?
Or like
And he makes the trip he finds a job, the Overlook, he goes in for the interview. Yeah. And the whole thing kind of plays out the same, and he gets to the end of it, freezes solid, and the cycle kind of restarts. Is that what you're...
Not necessarily. I'm thinking like he's born, he dies, he's born again to go through the motions of whatever his life is until the point that he goes to the Overlook Hotel.
That's interesting.
And
he could even be born in a different...
Not
flesh,
different. He's
like,
called Grady. Like he's...
And that picture frame shows up at the end as whatever
but it's the same
representation
guy.
Jack is in that iteration of his life.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
sort
but it's
of,
like the same person. Like it looks to be the same person. Or like it's
sort of a reincarnation take on it. It's always Jack. He's always been the caretaker.
Just in a different...
He comes back in a bit of a different form.
Yeah.
And the hotel updates itself as per his most recent
like
trip experience with it, I guess.
Yeah, like in this case, it was that he was a writer and he was looking for a quiet place to sit down on his own and write, but it's something else next time. He's a woodworker or something, and he takes a chainsaw to his family instead of an axe.
All right, now we're getting into Texas Chainsaw Massacre here.
Yeah, it's just a different movie now.
Cross universe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. The beauty of this movie is that we've been talking for an hour theorizing about different ways this could be interpreted, right?
And there's
plenty of variations.
Yeah, there's nothing that's like, I don't say is, or I wouldn't think is distinctly wrong based on
we can't
evidence we
necessarily
see.
Fully dismiss.
Everything we've said is all speculation based on what we saw, not like something that can be disproved because of what we did see.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like our understanding of how it works is so little that you can't say something is wrong. Or right,
we can't prove or disprove.
Yeah, exactly.
There's just not enough info to fill those gaps.
Yeah,
left open to interpretation.
Yeah, I guess that's the beauty of it.
When I'd recommended covering The Shining for an episode originally, I know you were kind of wary of like the horror genre as a whole, and didn't have a whole lot of experience with that. But after having seen it now, because I had kind of described it as like, well, I hesitate to call it horror because it's definitely like it emits that sense of dread and horror and stress and like elements of the feelings you'd have when watching a horror movie, but I felt like it was a little bit more subdued in terms of like striking sheer terror into you. So did you find that, like, I don't know if it made you more inclined maybe in the future to kind of like dip your toes a little more into what the horror genre, because it's fairly broad, right? Like this is a good example.
Well, that's the thing. Like I think this vein of, again, we've been using air quotes for horror quite a bit here, but this vein of the horror genre, I'm interested in, I'm comfortable with, I want to continue with. And I think this, in the same way that I don't want to not call it a horror movie because there is those horror elements, but the horror is not the focus of the movie. In the same way that, like, you made me play Dead Space, the horror is not the focus of that game. It's a part of that game. It's a storytelling device. It's a necessary evil to
build the atmosphere.
To give you the emotion, the feeling that you're supposed to have, which is the stressed out, uncomfortable, a little scared.
Yeah, to make it believable that...
Yeah, but it wasn't intentionally... The intention of these elements are not to scare you. It's to scare the characters or to create a conflict in some way or another, like to harbor Jack Nicholson busting through that door with the axe. It's like, that's not scary per se. I'm not in danger. I don't feel that there's something to I have to physically be scared of, but there is that essence of I feel myself in her shoes.
Yeah.
To the side, waiting for this fucking guy to bust through the door.
Yeah, it's not a contrived horror movie where
there's not like a jump scare that's trying to get me. Yeah.
to Scream or Jolt's
Yeah.
in Terror. Yeah. It's how you would feel, like you said, if you were putting yourself in these characters' shoes. Like, you can understand that Jack Nicholson beating down your bathroom door with an axe
is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this guy has lost it, and he is on a death rampage here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm glad it connected with you then, because I was a little, not worried, but just like, I was more curious, I guess, to see how it would stack up to like your sort of slight aversion to horror in general as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think it's not to say this movie is like reframing how I think about the stuff I watch, and it's like I'm going to completely change the genre of movies I go for, but knowing that this is a classic, knowing that this is like one of the best films of the genre, I can certainly see that. Like, I can see
you can respect its prowess
100% and appreciate it to the fullest degree. And I think like this movie is, as it is to a lot of people, this is in the greatest of all time tier for me. In terms of our tier list,
it sounded like
this
you
is
were
in the top category,
moving into placing it in a category. And greatest of all time, like, I don't even have to hesitate with that one. Like, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I had mentioned earlier, even after having rewatched it, I've maybe watched it 4 times now, and it was just as good. It was maybe better because I also had the added element of sort of seeing how you would react.
Watching it for the first time vicariously through me.
Exactly. Yeah. Having that sort of sense. Yeah, because it's always a bummer where it's like you can't get that same sense of watching something for the first time again, but you can kind of get a little bit closer to that target if you watch it with someone who's never seen it. Yeah. So it was interesting based on that. But yeah, I noticed things upon my 4th watch here too that were maybe more subtle or lost on me previous watches. So yeah, I think there's still any movie that's like that rewatchable, and I'm still coming away, especially when it's as long as it is, and it's a bit more of a commitment to sit down and watch, and a bit of a slow burn too. So not necessarily for everyone. If you're really like, need some big bombastic kind of things going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to place it in the same category. There's no argument from me there.
Yeah. And there you have it, ladies and gents. I mean, I guess it's no surprise that The Shining goes in the greatest of all time. Classics are classics for a reason.
Yep.
And I think it shows.
Yep, that's a wrap, folks. Let us know your thoughts or your theories. As you can tell, there's tons of different interpretations of this masterpiece here, so please let us know. Keep the conversation going.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what you think or see what you think and maybe break it down if we get enough feedback.
Until next time, fanatics.
Thanks for listening.